Namaste yogis, my name is Pallavi Rajankar and welcome to Yoga and You. This particular video that we're doing is something that's very close to my heart because it's in the space of holistic wellness. A lot of times when we think of health, we think just about physical health, but there's a lot more to it. There's mental health, there's emotional health, and whether we believe it or not, there's energetic health. And today we're doing a two-part series on yoga to open up our chakras. Now, chakras is a word that some of us might find confusing to understand, but I'm going to clear that up right now. So what are chakras? Chakras quite literally means wheel, right? Biologically, if we think about it, because nowadays a lot of us are quite rational and need evidence like myself, biologically if we are to understand chakras, they correspond to certain neural activity in the body, and they also correspond to certain major organs in the body. Now energetically, everything that we do as human beings, and even animals, plants, whatever it is, we all use a certain amount of energy to function. Now Indians historically, we've called it prana, which is the universal life force. The Chinese call it chi, right? Anyway, so this prana, this energy, this universal life force flows through our bodies through certain channels. Now imagine if you think about it, that there's energy flowing through. The chakras basically act like gears, allowing the energy to flow through. Now obviously, if there's going to be a blockage in a certain gear or a blockage in a certain channel, energy is not going to be able to flow freely, right? So just like that, we have many chakras in our bodies, hundreds of chakras in our bodies, but yoga has kind of classified it into seven or kind of renamed about 7 main chakras, and I'm going to name it for you just so you understand the asanas that we're going to go into. The first chakra is the root chakra or Mooladhara, that corresponds to safety. The second one is the sacral chakra or Swadhisthana, corresponding to sexuality. The third chakra is solar plexus or the Manipura chakra, corresponding to power. The fourth chakra is our heart chakra or Anahata chakra, corresponding to love. The fifth chakra is our throat chakra or Vishuddha, which corresponds to communication. The sixth chakra is our third eye chakra or Agnya, which corresponds to our intuition. And the seventh chakra is our Sahasrara or crown chakra, which corresponds to our connection to our higher divine self. Now when this energy is moving through these chakras, the universal life force that we spoke about earlier, if any of the chakras are blocked, say for example, which is caused by some emotional hurt or some trauma or some physical pain, if there is a blockage, it's possible that energy isn't allowed to flow freely and it causes a physical disease. And so, which is why yoga is important to allow us to open up these chakras so that we can stay disease free. I'm now going to move into the asanas, and it's a two-part video. This video has a few poses to open up the chakras which are quite basic. In the second video are some of the more advanced asanas, right? So let's begin. So for the first asana, we're going to get up and we're going to move into our tree pose of Vrikshasana. We're going to start with the right foot. So I'm going to ask you to keep your right foot very firmly planted on the floor. Engage all of the muscles of your right leg, right? So your thigh, your calf, engage it. Imagine like your right foot is glued to the floor. Shift your weight to the right leg and gently lift your left foot up. Now, it can be below your knee or above your knee. Either one is fine, just not on the knee because you don't want to injure yourself, right? So keeping the foot onto the thigh, hands to heart center, gaze at one point in front of you so that you're not distracted. Holding the pose here for 4. For 3, if you want an extra challenge, you can even close your eyes. For 2, if you want even more of a challenge, you can lift your hands up. Staying here for another 2. And for 1. Slowly bringing your hands back to heart center if you've lifted it. And then gently release your left leg. We're going to do this on the same side. We're always going to balance the body, right? So same thing, root down through your left foot. Imagine your left foot is very heavy into the floor. Engage your left thigh. Shift your weight slightly onto the left side. Lift your right leg up. If this is all you can do, that's fine. Keep it below the knee or above the knee. Okay, just not on the knee. You don't want to injure yourself. As much as you can go. Hands to heart center. Gaze or drishti on one point in front of you so that you don't get distracted by any movement. Engage the core, tighten it. Staying here for 4. Once again, you can lift your hands up if you feel like, or you can close your eyes if you want the challenge. If you are an advanced practitioner, for 3, for 2. Inhale, lengthen even more if you can, rolling the shoulders back, and for 1. Gently bringing your hands back to heart center, releasing the right leg down. Good. From here, we're slowly going to sit back down, bending the knees, allowing the hips to come down. For another 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Staying in Malasana. This might be a little bit difficult for some of you. If it's difficult, what you can do is, you can just roll the mat behind you, placing your ankles on the mat like this. It becomes a lot easier for us to balance, right? With your elbows, push your knees aside. Back is as straight as possible. Look in front of you. Staying here for another 3. For 2. Last little breath here. And for 1. Stay in Malasana. If you've rolled up your mat, just unroll it. You're here. And then slowly from here, just drop the hips down. If possible without your hands, lifting the feet up to the eye level, hands on either side of the legs, staying in your Navasana. If you're new to this practice or if you're a beginner, hold your legs, use it as support to lengthen the spine. And then from here, hands on either side of the legs, drishti or gaze on your big toes. Staying here for 3. For 2, back is straight. For you and me both. For 2. And for 1. Slowly bringing the legs back down. From here, hands down. Legs extend to the front of the mat. Okay, you can adjust so that you're at the bottom of the mat. From here, we're going to go into Matsyasana or fish pose. So hands go underneath the bum. Left hand goes under the left bum and your right cheek. Right? Your hands are here. Inhale, lengthen the spine as much as possible. Super point your feet to the front of the mat so that you're flexing your legs. Gently bend down through the elbows. Rest. Inhale, allow the chest to go up to the ceiling. Exhale, head goes back to the floor. Staying here for 4. For 3, imagine like someone is pulling yourself up to the ceiling. For 2, last little breath. Remembering to breathe. And for 1. With control, gently move your chin to your chest. Don't whip out of the pose, especially if you're someone who has blood pressure. Don't whip out of it. Release your hands. Use your hands to straighten your back up. Gently cross your legs. Allow the knees to go as wide as the mat. Toes touching. Hips are just resting on the heels. Bringing your head down to the floor. Hands extend in front of you. Coming back into your Balasana or child's pose. If you're out of breath, now is a good time to catch your breath. Balasana is a great pose to regulate the nervous system, to feel grounded. Spreading the fingertips as wide as possible and really holding on to the earth below you. Lengthen the spine. Imagine like you're trying to touch the very front of the mat. Really feeling those muscles stretch.
Don't allow your elbows to rest on the floor. Release it off the floor. Really do the work. If you're here, you might as well give your 100%. Staying here for another 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Slowly drag your hands back, curling your back. Allow your back to straighten up. Bringing your feet right in front of you once again. I'm going to turn you so that you can see. So from here, just coming into a comfortable seated pose. Bring one heel into your hips, the other ankle in front. Allow the knees to be flat down, or if that's not possible and your hips are tight, your knees are up, gently place a pillow or a block down. Allow your knees to rest. Coming into the meditation pose, your hands can stay on the knees, or it can be your palms can be facing the ceiling, back is straight. And we're just going to stay here for 7 counts, regulating the breath for another 7, for 6, taking deep inhales and exhales, relaxing the shoulders, for 5, for 4, really allowing that intuition to come through. This pose is for the third eye or the Agnya chakra. Allowing yourself to really sit in silence, to listen to yourself, to listen to what is going on internally. What is the mind chattering about? What is the mind's voice saying? For another 2, can you quieten it? Allowing the wisdom to come through. Last little breath here. And for 1. Gently opening the eyes. And we're going to move into our final Shavasana. So gently face the long side of the mat. Allow your legs to extend, heels and toes out. Bringing your spine down. Palms facing the ceiling. And staying in Shavasana. Relaxing every little muscle in the body, even the ones you don't usually pay attention to. We're staying here for another 5. You can stay as long as me, or you can stay as long as you want. You can extend the Shavasana for 5 to 10 minutes. Totally up to you. For 4. Allowing the body to really feel the effects of the practice that we just had. For 3. Noticing the muscles, the energy, whether you feel any different mentally, physically, emotionally. For 2. Just taking some deep breaths. And for 1. Gently move your fingertips and slowly moving your toes. Curling onto one side. Slowly coming back into seated. So what we just did was certain very basic asanas that you can do even on a daily basis to open up some of the chakras if you have certain blockages. I hope you enjoyed practicing with me. Namaste.